Now at 9, we hear from local law enforcement agencies about the ongoing struggle to attract and keep employees.
With the holiday season approaching and millions of Americans hitting the road, the White House is releasing oil from its emergency reserves with the hope of bringing prices down. I'm Alexandria Hoff in Washington, and I'll have that story coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. A former Joplin school teacher is going to spend 20 years in prison for enticing a minor to engage in sex. A federal judge in Springfield handed down Amanda Schweitzer's sentence today. Those 20 years going to be served without the possibility of parole and followed by 15 years of supervised release. The 13-year-old victim, who was a student of Schweitzer's, reported Schweitzer sent nude photos of herself to the victim and had sex with the victim on at least 2 separate occasions. Kevin Strickland has been behind bars for more than 40 years, but today, the 62-year-old who maintained his innocence for the duration of his time in prison is free. A Missouri judge today ruled that Strickland was wrongfully convicted for 3 murders. Jackson County prosecutor Gene Peters Baker and other legal and political leaders worked to free Strickland because they say evidence used to convict him had been recanted or disproven since his conviction in 1979. Attorney General Eric Schmidt, though, fought his release, saying he believes Strickland was guilty. Strickland was convicted in the April 25, 1978 deaths of 21-year-old Larry Ingram, 20-year-old John Walker, and 22-year-old Sherry Black. Meteorologist Doug Cady joining us now. Seems like that wind is kicking up out there.
Yeah, and that's actually going to keep our temperatures up just a little bit as we go through the overnight hours. So not near as cold for us tonight as we're going to kind of hang out into lower 50s for overnight lows. Great day, 67. We started at 37, well above our average high, 12 degrees above our average high, 55, where we should be topping out for the second half of November. It looks pretty good. We have clear skies right now, but clouds increasing out to our west. This is the beginnings of our next storm system, which will affect us by tomorrow evening. Ahead of it, temps not that bad, most of us sitting into the mid 50s. We're going to look at our chances for thunderstorms here in just a bit.
Doug, thank you. Many businesses continue to face issues hiring new employees, but there's one group that's had trouble recruiting for years. Some local law enforcement agencies are continuing to face recruiting issues. KOAM's Chris Warner tells us what they're up against and what they're doing to attract more officers.
We spoke with 3 law enforcement agencies in Jasper County about recruiting and retaining officers. Captain Will Davis with the Joplin Police Department says they have 7 new recruits in the Law Enforcement Academy now, but it's still not enough.
We're still 13 positions short here at the police department, and that's just the attrition that we've seen over the last several years.
In Jasper County, they're facing similar issues.
It could always be better. It's a constant revolving door of trying to get employees to come and want to work in law enforcement.
The Carthage Police Department, on the other hand, is seeing the opposite.
We've been very fortunate at this department by maintaining good retention of our employees. We do recruiting on occasion. That's really just to make sure our name is still out there and giving recruits and people that are interested in law enforcement an idea of what Carthage Police Department is about.
For the departments facing staffing issues, they're working on getting creative and offering programs and incentives to recruits.
We will hire a person on and send them to the academy, and we'll pay for those academy costs, whereas any other individual may have to pay that out of pocket if they send themselves to the academy.
Davis says there's an extra perk to that as well.
And also, as you're going through class, you're an employee, so you're earning a paycheck while you're sitting in class, learning and being trained to be a police officer.
In Jasper County, they have the benefit of the jail for those who may be interested in joining the force.
At 18 years old, someone can work at the detention center, find out if law enforcement is even the field that they want to work in.
Teed says they also offer scholarship opportunities to those people to get into the academy. In Jasper County, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Both Joplin and Jasper County are actively searching for officers and deputies. If you're interested in a law enforcement career, you can reach out to either agency to get more information. City of Carthage is considering whether to ask voters to approve funds for a new performing arts center. Officials say the current performing arts center, which is attached to the 6th grade center, is no longer adequate for the school district or the community for that matter to use. If approved, the new center would be attached to the high school. But before voters can decide, the school board has a decision to make.
The one we're in right now is old. It was built in 1987. Some of the items we need, we can't replace here. It's too small for any type of true high school performances. Since we were in this building, we've grown 300-400 kids just in the high school levels.
School district is also deciding what to do with that place right there, the Powers Museum. The building was donated to the district, and right now the district is considering making it an alternative learning center. 4 States Clean Air Alliance is looking to the future. In a meeting, officials discussed what they plan to accomplish in 2022. The city of Joplin created the alliance after the EPA said Joplin had dangerously high levels of ground ozone. Officials say they're doing much better since the formation of the group.
That's going to probably be one of the topics today that we'll be discussing is trying to develop over the next few months, trying to develop what our plan will be for our action steps for the next spring and next summer.
Now, because of the pandemic, this was the group's first meeting since May. As we enter the holiday driving season, President Biden is trying to slow down the increase of those gasoline prices. Whether or not they will slow down the inflation spiral, though, remains to be seen. Fox News correspondent Alexandria Hoff has the latest.
An expensive start to the holiday road trip. The national average for regular gasoline reaches $3.40 per gallon, roughly 60% higher than this time last year. Poll after poll shows inflation emerging as a top concern with voters. And now President Biden is releasing 50 million barrels of oil from emergency reserves over the next several months to try and boost supply and bring down prices.
So today I'm announcing that the largest ever release from the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve to help provide the supply we need as we recover from this pandemic.
Republicans say the move will hardly make a difference. Senator Lindsey Graham says, quote, the release of 50 million barrels is a Band-Aid because the root cause is the Democratic war on fossil fuel production in America. And some analysts say if there's any effect on prices, it may antagonize OPEC. But the president says this move will offer relief for Americans who are paying too much at the pump.
And while our combined actions will not solve the problem of high gas prices overnight, it will make a difference.
5 other countries have also agreed to tap into their emergency reserves as part of a coordinated global response. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
A 6th person, a child, has passed away in the deadly Wisconsin Christmas parade disaster. The incident raising new questions about bail reform, with many questioning how someone with such a violent past could walk out of jail after posting such a low bail. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera is in Waukesha, Wisconsin, where a judge has set the suspect's bail at $5 million.
As the driver in the deadly Christmas rampage in Wisconsin heads to court, new video capturing the moment he was arrested by police. This doorbell camera capturing Darrell Brooks showing up at a stranger's home. Less than a mile from where police say minutes earlier, he drove a red SUV through a barricade and plowed into the crowd, killing a handful of people ages 52 to 81 and injuring dozens of others.
I called an Uber and I'm supposed to be waiting for it over here, but I don't know when it's coming. Can you call it for me, please? I'm homeless.
The unsuspecting neighbor let Brooks inside and made him a sandwich. And when he noticed police driving around his street, he asked Brooks to leave. Police arresting the 39-year-old, booking him on 5 counts of first-degree intentional homicide, with additional charges pending. At the time of the attack, Brooks was fleeing from a domestic disturbance incident. He has a long rap sheet, charged 16 times since 1999, including numerous violent felonies, and was freed on $1,000 bail just 2 days before the deadly attack, an amount Milwaukee County prosecutors say was inappropriately low.
There was no way that he should have ever been out on the street. He kept getting let go and able to repeat lots of crimes, not only this one.
Because of Brooks' extensive criminal history, the Waukesha DA saying she'll set his bail so high he won't be able to get out of jail before trial. In Waukesha, Wisconsin, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor another 4-state hero. Vernon Fletcher served in the U.S. Army from 1942 to 45. He was stationed in France, also Rhineland, earning several awards. We are proud to thank Anson, Private First Class Vernon Fletcher, tonight's 4-state hero. Mr. Doug Heddy's next with a complete look at the forecast a bit later. Frontenac Raiders just 4 days away from playing for a state championship. Going to hear from the team in sports.
Well, it turned out to be a great Tuesday for us today. Temperatures all the way up into the upper 60s during the afternoon. A little bit on the windy side, but those southerly winds just help our temperatures warm up as we went through the afternoon. In fact, they're going to keep our temperatures up as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Great shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Zooming in, look at our highs. Most of us went into the upper 60s as we went into the afternoon. In fact, near 70 in our western counties. Southerly winds continue to keep our temps up, and we are dropping off that much. We're at 53 in Nevada, 54 in Neosho, Miami 54. Parsons is checking in at about 57 degrees. But these southerly winds, they're going to stay pretty breezy all night long. You can see most of them are kind of in that 10 to 20 mile per hour range, and we may get gusts at times upwards of about 25 miles per hour. Currently outside, sitting at 54, south wind 16, humidity fairly low at about 53%. And we do have clear skies. We're going to continue to see clear skies for the next few hours. Then we'll start to see some clouds increasing with our next system, which you can see kind of getting organized out across southern parts of the Rockies. Clouds now entering into central parts of Kansas. And this isn't a strong system, but a stronger system than what we have seen over about the past week or so. And it's going to give us some cooler temperatures by Thanksgiving and also chances for some showers and thunderstorms. Tonight's going to be okay. Southerly winds keep our temps up. A lot of clouds start to increase. Let's go through the daytime hours tomorrow. Clouds continue to thicken up. By noon, we should be into lower 60s. I think we'll top out into the mid 60s during the afternoon. Here's your day planner, starting at 51. 61 by noon, 65 by 3. South winds, kind of breezy again, 5 to 15. Gust, kind of in that 20 to 25 mile per hour range. After 4, 5, 6 p.m., we'll start to get scattered showers. These are mainly going to be pretty light, but by mid-evening, we'll get a few thunderstorms embedded in. I don't think these are going to be very strong, but still, we'll keep our eyes on it. Scattered showers and thunderstorms into tomorrow night. Here's 1:30 in the morning. And then by Thursday morning, most of the rain is out of here. We'll start to get sunshine returning on Thanksgiving. Actually, by Thursday afternoon, it looks pretty good. Unfortunately, it's going to be kind of chilly across the entire 4-state area. Rainfall with this next system, most of us in that 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch of rain, but along and south of I-44, there may be a few spots that pick up 3/4 of an inch upwards to an inch of rain with this next system. 65 tomorrow, only 47 on Thursday, but Friday 56, 63 on Saturday. So even though Thanksgiving will be a little bit on the chilly side, the holiday weekend looks fantastic.
Now, I was just looking at that turkey. He's a little too excited to be on the dinner table shortly.
Well, he just doesn't know.
He just doesn't know it. That's it. That's it.
So, I mean, hopefully he'll get like a memo or an email sent to him tomorrow evening. So we'll see.
We'll see in a little bit. Thanks so much, Doug. Coming up, the White House asking a federal court to reinstate nationwide vaccine requirements.
Health officials are making a big new vaccine push as new cases are spiking up across the country. I'm Phil Keating in Miami with the details and the hot spots straight ahead.
Can COVID be stopped with chewing gum? A new experimental gum may reduce the spread of COVID. Researchers say the gum reduces the virus in saliva with protein that traps coronavirus particles, limiting the amount of virus that is passed when those infected talk, breathe, or cough. Scientists say the gum feels, tastes just like regular chewing gum. Researchers say it would add to the benefit of the vaccine and would also be helpful in those countries where vaccines aren't available or affordable. We are now averaging more than 1,000 deaths every day in the U.S. amid fears of a 5th nationwide COVID wave as we head into the winter. Fox News correspondent Phil Keating has more from Miami.
Health officials say a new nationwide COVID surge could be unavoidable. We're now averaging about 95,000 new infections every day. That's up about 20% from last week and the highest number since early October. More than 30 states are now seeing a spike, with the Northeast, Midwest, and Southwest getting hit the hardest. Officials are now scrambling to get more vaccine shots into arms. In New York City, a program offering $100 for anyone getting their shots at a city-run vaccine site has been expanded to all vaccination centers.
Everyone who comes to get vaccinated can get that $100 incentive, and this is going to keep moving us forward.
There's also a big new push for vaccine boosters. At least 36 million Americans have gotten boosters, 3 million since Friday when the FDA and CDC expanded access to all adults. And there's new evidence the additional doses do not cause the rare heart inflammation that has been reported after the first 2 shots.
The side effects are about the same as the other 2 shots with one exception. They're not seeing the myocarditis.
Meanwhile, the battle over mandates is heating up again, with the White House asking a federal court to reinstate nationwide vaccine requirements for all businesses with more than 100 workers, claiming it is the best way to stop the spread.
The requirement will avoid disruptions, in our view, in our labor force because vaccinations help avoid COVID.
The deadline for federal employees and contractors to get vaccinated was Monday, and the White House says about 95% of those people got their shots. In Miami, Phil Keating, Fox News.
Next, officials say there's new evidence against former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. A federal jury says CVS, Walgreens, and Walmart didn't do enough to stop the flow of opioids into 2 Ohio counties. It's the first time the retail segment of the drug industry has been held accountable in the epidemic. The verdict could set the tone, though, for state and local governments that want to hold pharmacies accountable for the nation's opioid crisis. 500,000 Americans have passed away from overdoses over the past 2 decades. Spokespeople for CVS and Walgreens say the companies will appeal this decision. Serious new trouble for former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. A legislative investigation found what it calls overwhelming evidence Cuomo engaged in sexual harassment and ordered state workers to help produce his book during work hours. Fox News correspondent David Lee Miller is in New York City with this story.
An impeachment investigation into former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo found overwhelming evidence of wrongdoing while he was in office. Although Cuomo has long since resigned, the findings of investigators released in a 63-page report concluded, among other things, that the former governor, quote, engaged in multiple instances of sexual harassment. The report focused on Cuomo's former executive assistant, Brittany Camiso, who in a separate criminal action accused Cuomo of groping her breast. The investigation was conducted by a private law firm commissioned by the State Assembly Judiciary Committee.
He created a hostile work environment in which it was almost as if the executive office was a frat house, and that contributed to an environment in which Andrew Cuomo assaulted an employee.
Investigators also found Cuomo improperly used state workers and equipment to write a memoir that made him at least $5 million. The report said Cuomo, quote, utilized state resources and property, including work by executive chamber staff, to write, publish, and promote his book regarding his handling of the COVID crisis. While Cuomo's book was a victory lap for his leadership during the pandemic, the report disputed some of its claims. It said Cuomo, quote, was not fully transparent regarding the number of nursing home residents who died as a result of COVID-19. A spokesman for Cuomo issued a detailed statement attacking all the report's findings and concluding, quote, the truth will come out. Despite Cuomo's legal problems, there is speculation he still has political ambitions. But even a fellow Democrat says his days in government should be over.
The report makes it very clear Andrew Cuomo is not fit for office.
Some Republican lawmakers say Cuomo must be impeached to be held accountable for his actions. The report says that's not an option because he is no longer in office. In New York, David Lee Miller, Fox News.
Up next, going to check out a Thanksgiving parade featuring elementary students in Neosho. So the Macy's Thanksgiving parade is cool. Might get all the headlines, but this one in Neosho is pretty special itself. Neosho elementary students took part in a parade of their own. It gave them a chance to put it all together, also help out some younger kids.
So our 3rd graders make balloons and our 4th graders make floats. And so then we, parade around, throw candy to our younger students and just put them in the holiday spirit.
Hey, good job, guys. Organizers say the parade gives kids some lessons in STEM activities. Also at South Elementary Neosho, students have been hard at work raising money for other area kids. The district's kindergarten classes set a goal to raise $700 for the Shopping with Heroes program. They surpassed that goal, hitting more than $1,000.
Well, our character word this week, or this month, is teamwork and cooperation, and just the fact that we all worked together and raised that money, and the fact that they had the goals and they kept raising it for themselves was just a true experience for them to show their character as a South School. So,
how about that? The Shop with a Hero program pairs a kid with an area first responder to shop for holiday gifts. All right, 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming your way.
Thanksgiving travel has already started here in the 4 states, and airport officials say it's only going to get busier. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with how they're saying this year's travel compares to last and their tips for traveling this holiday season.
Plus, an area church offering people a cheaper way to get medical equipment, things like crutches and walking boots. This week marks one of the busiest for travelers as we're just days away now from Thanksgiving. The last year, because of COVID-19, of course, not many people were flying, but the Joplin Regional Airport, people there say that isn't the case this year. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with the airport's manager, also a traveler, to see how flying for the holiday differs from last year.
The Joplin Regional Airport says they're preparing for a surge of travelers this holiday season, something they're already seeing during the week of Thanksgiving.
We are seeing fairly substantial loads going out of here. Started last weekend, and we'll anticipate those through the rest of this week.
The change was even more noticeable for those traveling.
I've been flying since before 2020. It was more packed than last year for sure. I got to my gate fine. In Chicago, it's a little different. It's a lot busier than the Charlotte airport. So I had about 10 minutes to get to my connecting flight. That was hard.
This is a major shift from last year, according to airport manager Steve Stockham.
Last year, we were in the middle of a pretty high COVID peak. There was a lot of folks that chose to stay put, obviously not get in large gatherings and those types of things. I think those folks that have been vaccinated and have kind of moved on from that situation now are moving around a lot more. We are seeing fairly substantial loads going out of here.
Stockham says the biggest issue travelers may face isn't at the Joplin airport, but at the many hubs Joplin flies to, like Chicago and Denver.
I would suggest staying inside security and not going outside, because trying to rescreen and get back into security is going to be difficult, especially at some of the major hubs.
The biggest thing he recommends for all travelers to have this holiday season is patience.
You're going to have to be prepared to wait in some of those instances, and I just suggest everyone to be as patient as possible.
In Joplin, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Airports manager also stresses the importance of making travel plans in advance. This is because flights to the Joplin Regional Airport are already booked through Sunday. U.S. Representative from Kansas, Jake LaTurner, hosted a town hall today in Pittsburgh. There's a chance for residents to ask him questions about what's happening in D.C. and how he plans to handle certain issues. We asked him how he feels about the spending proposals going through Congress.
Kansas families are feeling the effects of this economy with inflation, supply chain issues, workforce issues. We need to be addressing these concerns in Washington, D.C., not spending money that we're borrowing from China and imposing these new taxes and new regulations. The spending in Washington, D.C. is out of control, and we have to do everything we can to stop it.
LaTurner plans to do a town hall this week in all of our area counties that he represents. Jasper County Administrator's Angel Tree is up the courthouse. The Angel Tree is decorated with the names of area disabled adults who don't have adequate amounts of money to buy things. The way it works is this: you pick a name off the tree and buy gifts based off of the list that's provided.
If anybody wants to come to the courthouse and grab one of these and adopt them, all they have to do is bring the item back with the name tag so I know who it goes to, put it underneath this tree, and every day we come over and grab those, and we'll get it delivered for them.
Carthage Courthouse is in the middle of the square, a big, beautiful building there right on Grant Street. An area church is loaning out medical equipment to people in need. Now, when someone gets hurt and needs equipment like crutches or a walking boot, they often have to buy it, even if they only need it temporarily, sometimes, just for a short while, right? So the Grace Baptist Church in Joplin started the Medical Loan Closet. It's a way for people in need of durable equipment to get it for free.
I'm an RN by day, and I could see that there was a need where people needed things but didn't meet the requirements for insurance to cover it. And then on the same hand, there was just as many people who didn't know what to do with stuff when they no longer needed it.
All of the items in the closet are donations, things that the church cleans and repairs before loaning. It's been known for its $1 price tag for all products, but not any longer. The bargain chain Dollar Tree is raising its prices for the first time in 3 decades, and surprisingly, it's not because of inflation. By the beginning of 2022, items will be $1.25. Dollar Tree says the price hike will give them more flexibility to bring back customer favorites and also introduce new items. The company also saying the increase will help with freight and distribution costs as well as wage increases. A bit later, Christmas shopping for a specific person.
The holidays are right around the corner, and it's time to find gifts for the gamer in your life. I'm Eamon Dignam in New York with a look at all the hot gaming gifts available on Black Friday.
Well, it turned out to be a nice Tuesday for us today. We were fairly warm, upper 60s, plenty of sunshine across the region, so no complaints there. And it looks pretty good as we go through at least the overnight hours tonight into tomorrow. Great time lapse. Actually, it's a live shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, temps for us today. Most of us upper 60s to near 70 in our western counties. We have dropped off a bit, but not much. Southerly winds actually keeping our temperatures up just a little bit. So most of us are sitting into the mid 50s. We'll drop back lower 50s later on tonight, but that should be about it as we have these south winds at about 10 to 20. And then we've been getting gusts a little bit higher than that in that kind of 20 to 25 mile per hour range. That's what we're going to see tonight, and then again into the daytime hours tomorrow. 7th range line looking north and west. Clear skies, 54 south at 16. Humidity pretty low at about 53%. Clear skies, nothing going on here, nothing going on across the entire Central Plains, but you can see clouds increasing central western Kansas down through the southern parts of the Rockies, and that is our next storm system, which will start to affect us by tomorrow evening and then into Thursday. Ahead of it, we look okay. Southerly winds, some clouds increasing for us tonight, but we only drop back lower 50s. Clouds increase through the morning hours, just cloudy during the afternoon. It's still going to be fairly mild. I think most of us go into the mid 60s. We'll start at 51, 61 by noon, high temp of 65, south winds 5 to 15, gusts a little bit higher than that. Tomorrow evening, showers start to increase. Even a few scattered thunderstorms within this line. This is mainly 8, 9, 10 p.m. Showers, thunderstorms continue into the early morning hours on Thursday. Here's 1:30 in the morning, and then if you are getting up early on Thursday morning, they should be gone. We'll get sunshine, especially by Thursday afternoon, but temperatures kind of struggling to warm up as we go into Thursday afternoon. Rainfall with this next system, I think most of us a quarter to a half an inch, but there are going to be a lot of areas from a half to 1 inch, especially along and south of the Interstate 44 corridor, and then our northwestern counties, not that much at all. All right, 65 tomorrow, only 47 on Thanksgiving. Let's look at our day planner for you. We'll start kind of chilly into the 30s, 37 with clouds. As we go through the day, more and more sunshine. 44 by noon, high temp of 47, 56 on Friday, back to 63 Saturday. So a pretty good holiday weekend. In fact, 70 by next Tuesday.
Chilly for Thanksgiving, but still, you look at the glass half full.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Doug, thank you. Yep. All right, coming up in sports, Carthage girls opening the basketball season at home against Hillcrest. Also going to hear from the Frontenac Raiders as they prepare to head to Hutchinson to play for the 3A state championship.
Frontenac Raiders have a chance to bring home a football state championship this weekend. Frontenac hits the road to Hutchinson on Friday to face Andale on Saturday, looking to do what they've only done one other time in program history. The Frontenac Raiders last played for a state championship in 2017.
It was a big deal. We were in 8th grade and we were in the stands watching, and it was definitely a moment where we thought to ourselves, that's what we want to do when we get in high school.
Now, the Raiders are back in the state title game, giving this group of seniors a chance to do what they've been planning to do since they were kids.
We've dreamed of this since youth league kids. We've always told Coach Smith that our grade's going to be the year that goes to state and wins it.
They've been talking about this their whole career. They put the work in the off season. We have 18 special seniors in a young group that's very special as well, and they've come together and bonded very well. That's what makes a special team. So they've clicked at the right time, and they have one more ride together.
The Raiders are coming off a big win over Holton in the state semifinals. Frontenac held the Wildcats to just 13 points Friday, a season low for a Holton team averaging 40 per week.
I thought we played extremely hard. After that first quarter, we really controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides. We've been in a lot of big games the last 4 or 5 weeks, a lot of tight games in the third and fourth quarters, and our kids weren't phased at halftime when we were down by 1. We felt like we were in a really good position, and you could see our confidence in our kids. So I was just proud of our leadership, and our kids believed, and they just played hard last Friday.
They'll need another big performance on Saturday in the state championship game. Frontenac faces Andale for the 3A title, a team that's 12-0 and averaging more than 50 points per contest.
Saturday it'll be good smash mouth football, and that's the way we like it.
They control the clock, they control the ball. It seems like their offense is on the field a lot, so we're going to have to do that to them, run at them, take care of the ball, keep their defense on the field, and just try to win the field position and turnover battle.
We're big up front, and our linebackers are real good getting downhill, and we just love physical football, and that's just part of being part of a Frontenac team. We love each other like brothers, and we're just willing to get it done together.
Frontenac faces Andale at 1 p.m. on Saturday in Hutchinson. To Carthage now, home opener tonight for the Carthage girls facing Hillcrest. Kiana Yates, 8 points in the first quarter. Carthage up 5 going to the second. In that second frame, Landry Cochran knocks down the jumper. Tigers get the lead to 13 with that. Sophie Shannon, good in the second. Shannon scores 8 in the quarter. Carthage lead is 9 at halftime. Third quarter now, Yates finds Cochran. Nice look there for the score. Cochran finishes with 8. Then Yates back to work scoring. Floater goes. 21 points tonight for Kiana Yates. The Tigers win their home opener by 10 over Hillcrest, 60-50. The Missouri Southern men are 2-2 in their first 4 games of the season. The Lions still have 2 non-conference games before MIAA play begins on December 2nd. Now, the first of those is tonight on the road against Arkansas Tech. Tonight's game is final. Lions fall 74-54. Lawson Jenkins scores a team-high 14. Missouri Southern is back on home on Saturday, hosting John Brown University. And that's it for sports. We're back with more news after this.
It's just around the corner, just in case you didn't know, and this means it's time to gear up for Black Friday shopping. Fox's Eamon Dignam has a gift guide for the gamers in your life in this edition of Fox on Games.
The top request from any gamer will likely be one of the 3 major consoles. The Nintendo Switch OLED, featuring a brighter, larger screen and some new bells and whistles, a PlayStation 5 by Sony, the current generation that's home to exclusive games like Spider-Man and the Last of Us franchise, and the Xbox Series X. And if you're lucky, you'll actually be able to find one despite the ongoing supply chain issues. If you can't get a console and you own a PC or a mobile phone, you can spring for a year of the Xbox Games Pass. The service is widely considered to be the top tier of streaming games, allowing players to swap certain games between a console, the PC, and your phone, and keep playing where you left off. And you'll need a controller with that. The Scuf Instinct is a pro-level controller that easily swaps between your Series X, PC, and phone. For the pro sounds in your ears, the Edifier Hecate GX high-res gaming headset looks cool and has almost perfect surround sound, so enemies can't sneak up on you. You'll also need a good chair. The DX Racer gaming chair is high performance, so it isn't cheap. It has suspension springs pulled straight from performance cars, adjustable lumbar support, and a memory foam headrest. Even if you're not a gamer and you have to spend long hours working at a computer, it's worth it. And that's your Insider's cheat code to holiday gifts for gamers. In New York, Eamon Dignam, Fox News.
When we come back, check out Disney's new movie, Encanto. Disney is taking fans on a magical musical adventure to Colombia with its 60th animated feature film. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has this story.
Welcome to Family Madrigal. Disney celebrates family and Colombian culture in the new film Encanto, the studio's first animated musical set in Latin America.
I cannot believe that I'm alive at a time when Disney Animation has chosen to have their 60th animated film be set in Colombia and be about people like us.
That look like her.
It's so incredible. It's so amazing.
It is sad that we don't grow up with kind of more visuals of like what you grow up with and some of the things that you're more familiar with. And that, I think this film is a testament to how we need to keep doing that and how special that is.
Gift or no gift, I am just as special as the rest of my family.
The film tells the story of a young Colombian girl who is the only member of her magical family that does not possess a special gift. But she becomes their last hope when she discovers the magic surrounding them and their house is in danger.
Wait, how do I save the magic?
I think it says that we're all different in family and we all contribute to family differently. And we're all such an important part of it, and we're stronger together.
I think that it was so clever and brilliant of Disney to show this particular family dynamic within a Latino family, because it is a very common pattern that a lot of large Latino families experience.
Most of the cast descends from Colombia, and they appreciate the studio taking its time to understand their culture before interpreting it on screen.
There is a beautiful moment in our industry in where we are understanding that the thoughtfulness that goes into telling a story has to be first.
Let's go! The Madrigals unleash their magic in theaters Wednesday. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Going to leave you with video of some polar bears in Canada fighting, not getting along. Everything works it out in the end, right? Be safe, do this all again tomorrow. See you then.